January the 23rd, 2026. Guys, you're looking at a simple diagram, and this is from the National Center for Atmospheric Research. And I've noticed in the comments of the video since we've been covering this ice storm, more and more people are saying each video that they're getting massively chemtrailed. And they're talking about record snowfalls and all, but this chart, again, is just a very basic chart, but it talks about what they use silver iodide in this particular chemtrailing situation. I don't know about all of them, but what it shows here is you have to have a cloud. In other words, they don't create moisture. The silver iodine is like a fine-grained sand. It can't even absorb moisture, but moisture collects on it, and it causes it to fall. And so you have to have the moisture in place. This just, again, weights it down, basically, and it makes it fall in certain areas. And it's, as you can see in the diagram, your places like Colorado and the other areas where you ski a lot, it's real popular there. But in some of the areas that we're seeing it really coming down heavy now, I mean, we don't have ski resorts here in Mississippi. I don't think there's many anywhere in the Southeast. But we're going to look at some of the satellite images from this morning, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. But it shows the plane comes through, seeds it out, and you start getting snow on the mountains as the plane is dropping the what they call the agent out. It's silver iodide, I think. Anyway, you find the cloud, you release it in dispersion, then ice, then snow. And that's how it works. Now, if it's a warm climate, of course, it's going to end up being rain, but we're looking at it as a snow event here. Just very simple diagram again on what they're doing or how it works. But again, they don't create the moisture. They just cause it to fall from a moist cloud, basically, or area that's heavily, has a lot of moisture in it. Now, I guess it's night time for the Huskies. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not. But they sound pitiful, and it's just something they do about 2 or 3 times a day, and they want something when they do it. Early in the morning, it's a snack. Right now, it's very wet outside, and they love to play in the front yard. We got the front is fenced, and it's separated from the back and the side. But they love the front for some reason because they don't get to go up there a lot. It's mostly gravel for the driveways and things like that. It's kind of small. But I guess the grass is always greener. In this case, the mud is always deeper, and I won't let them go out there in the very front today because it's really overcast, it's cool, and it's muddy from all the rain, and they're complaining about it. Anyway, this is what we're dealing with. Now, let's take a look at the current images, and to me, it doesn't make sense to try to add to this snowfall. You got a lot of it going to be here. And what are we seeing in the weather predictions? You know how they're changing the last 2 or 3 days? Is that because people are making calls? We need this moved here, dropped here, and dropped that, kind of like FEMA did after the hurricane. You couldn't, red states and Trump signs, you remember that fiasco? A lot of those people are still in place. They didn't get rid of very many of that bunch, I don't think. Anyway, let's take a look at the satellite images. Now, we'll move this around a little bit. I have this right on the southeastern. You see the weather coming in from the left. But look at the chemtrails up here, and the X's and all the formations that they make. See that right there? And these 3 right there. And what you were seeing right at the beginning is here. This is not basically night vision, and you'll see as the sun rises. But if you pay attention, you can tell they were doing this at night. As soon as it went as soon as the sun hit it, you could see where these areas were. So if you go back this way, it's again possible that they're spraying in Colorado, and it's the higher you get in the air, guys, it's moving extremely fast. And the mountains are high there, so I don't know. But we sure don't need any cloud seeding in our area. Unless they're trying to create a situation, again, like a hurricane type event, and it's really going to affect the red states big time. Just saying. Why are they doing it? It's not nice to mess with Mother Nature. Remember that old commercial? Well, it's true. You should leave the creation alone. I can see the benefits in an emergency drought situation or something like that, but right now we're already dealing with a winter storm, and you're increasing the moisture drop. What's going on? It'll be melted off by the time the midterms get here. But again, one thing I know is happening is the energy cost of the fuel to create the energy is skyrocketing right now in the futures. As we see silver hit over $100 this morning. But I looked at natural gas and those other commodities that are being traded, and man, they're taking advantage of it every way they can. The prices are going to skyrocket. Let's move this just a little bit. What I did, I moved over west, guys. This is the four corners right here: Arizona, New Mexico, Utah, Colorado. You can see that beautiful mountain range through here. Travel there, and I've climbed one of these mountains. I don't see that much chemtrailing or cloud seeding in this case. And it may be just because it's so overcast, but it was also over in the southeast. Just don't see it. And the reason I'm looking here is to see if it was being possibly dispersed here and then blowing back over the southeast. I don't see it, guys. And as the sun rises, I just don't see it here. So let's take a look at the very middle. It's hard to see, but this is Texas right here. Louisiana, Arkansas, here's New Mexico. And you can see up here, guys, it's not coming from Colorado. This is, again, Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and you can see where the beginnings of them are there. Let me slow it down one notch. Comes back around. Right there. Let me back that up and stop it. So somewhere you can see them in this area really clear. See that right there? And coming back just a little further. Watch as the sunrise hits it there. Again, we have them here, not over Colorado as far as I can see. Now let's go over to the East Coast just a minute. I noticed some of the comments are from there. I think are from there that we're seeing in the video descriptions. And it's a lot of chemtrailing going on here, guys. Watch it start over and as the sun starts to rise. Watch through this area especially. Look at this. Blanketing, just like you guys are talking about. That's what made me want to come see what was going on. I'm talking about heavy blanketing. Now let's go over to the blue state or California. We got kind of clear skies, especially over the valley as the sun rises this morning. Pretty clear. I don't see any chemtrailing, any signs of it, even in the night vision and the infrared there. So I guess if you vote blue, you're not going to have to worry about it, right? Now let's look over the Great Lakes region up on the Canadian border. Man, look at the lake effect snow. Wow. You guys are getting it. And just like we saw yesterday, there's still that trail coming out of this area. It's very thick. Still, I don't see any signs here of chemtrailing or, again, aerosol injection, whatever you want to call it. Now I'm going to move back over the central part, kind of the central section above the southeast. And yeah, you got, again, you can see it across all of Tennessee here. All of the southeast. Let's look into, yeah, Kentucky, guys, here. Missouri. A lot of it, too, been blanketing. Again, it's already predicted. I'm just wondering what the deal is on why you want to add to what's going to be record snowfall, or is it going to be record snowfall because they're predicting it, and why? I mean, because they want it to obviously they want it to have more moisture come out of these clouds and hit the ground. Wow. I can see it over drought-stricken areas or ski resort, maybe something like that. But you really don't need, because since they're not creating moisture, they're depriving it from where our Father intended it to be. That just never works out real well. But there's a lot of interference going on right here, guys. Guys, here's New York. Here's Long Island right there. Take a glance at this, and it appears, especially on the bottom of the screen down in this area, some of the signs of this weather manipulation, guys. Right through here. This area, I don't see much. This is normal patterns there. Anyway, I just wanted to come in and take a look because so many of you guys are talking about it. Now let's take a look at the entire nation here, and I'll set this bar to the right. And what this is in the color coding is the total amount of moisture that they expect to fall, whether rain or snow or whatever. And it's color coded brown, not much, and you can see that up above the storm here in Canada, the Great Lakes area. But here, through these areas, and you can color code it into the greens here. It's kind of hard to see, but that's a lot. And what's happening, guys, is we have a second storm coming in behind this one, and look what's setting off into the Pacific Ocean, a low pressure area that's throwing moisture. And the lower you get down, or closer to the equator, the warmer this air is and the warmer the water is. But right now we're dealing with, again, precipitation in the atmosphere that they expect to fall. Now, this is the current update from the National Weather Service. All of this is ice. This is freezing or ice storm warning in the purple area here. And these green areas that are starting to show more and more, these are extreme cold weather warnings, okay? Extreme cold watches is what they're called. But they are expecting very cold temperatures through here and up into Memphis. You can click on any of your states. Go to weather.gov. This map will come up. Click on your state. It's going to give you detailed information, detailed radar, satellite images of what the weather's doing. For instance, like here in Mississippi, you can do it. Now, something I've noticed that's a real handy in the southeast, guys, is to click on southern Arkansas. And that radar gives you quite a bit of the southeast. And let's check that out. Now, let's take a look at the current radar images. And here's your cold weather up here. Check this out, coming across the central part. Texas, you're starting to get moisture build up. This is Dallas-Fort Worth right there. And coming into Louisiana, right through the central part, you got some rain lines. It looks light. A lot of this blue and green is very light. Could be just sprinkles or just very damp air. And coming over into Georgia now, in the panhandle of Florida, it's a little bit of moisture. All of this is coming out of the warmer waters of the Gulf of America. Now, moving west, you got New Mexico, you got all of Texas here. There's a lot of moisture there, but none of it is heavy. Now, of course, in the yellow and oranges, it's a little more intense. But I have seen some maps that indicate there could be some thunderstorms over the next few days in the southeast, very close to the Gulf itself, that could create some severe weather, possibly tornadoes, just because of that difference in the fronts clashing right there. So keep an eye on that. Now let's move north up to the Canadian border, and you can see basically where this freeze line is, kind of right through here, and starting to drift a little further south in this area. It's different than where we're seeing the rain. Pretty obvious too. So all of that's coming. It's moving to the east. Guys, you could have record snowfall even up into New York. Pepper's in here, one of my pups is in here. Now, well, he's 2 years old. He's about 75 pounds, but I still call him my puppy. He's wanting me to rub his head, attention, and he really is one of those that craves it. And he'll come in and let you know. He's also the loudmouth, Pepper is, that leads the howling 3 times a day or 4 times, how many times they think they need to get into that wolf howl. But anyway, if I'm rubbing his head now so he won't be so loud. Let me continue with this. Now, going all the way up to the northeast, guys, you got moisture and it's overcast, but we do not see that much or hardly any heavy rain. Maybe a couple of pockets here. You got a lot of lake effect snow, and that's what we're seeing. I think a lot of this right here. But as this storm comes down and sweeps across the southeast, I think it's going to move right up into your area along the coast, and there you could get record snowfall. I know there's many places in the U.S. that are going to break temperatures and for prolonged periods of time. We'll get into that in the next video, but right now we got a current radar. You see where that freeze line was, and you guys are not hallucinating on the chemtrailing or the cloud seeding, I guess would be possibly what this is in this case. But why now? And especially in some areas that don't need it, because we're pretty saturated. We've been getting a lot of rain last several weeks and the ground is soaked and all of that. And I guess you could slide down a hill in a little wagon or something if you got enough snow, but it's not that hilly around here. And so I'm just kidding, but I don't understand why they're doing it. It doesn't sound like it's for good reasons. And I'll leave it at that. We're watching it. Watch for updates, guys. It's a heads up. Be safe.